Lab number 76. In this lab, we will add quality assurance service to our mobile application, and we'll try to report the first bug inside there. So let's start by opening the browser and navigating to Bluemix. You should already complete the lab where you register for a Bluemix account. So now we should log in under our account using the credentials that you provided. So now let's go to catalog and search for mobile quality assurance. You can find it either under mobile section, either type here in the search field. Like this, quality assurance. So we need to click on this service and click create. No properties needs to be changed, just leave it as is. Now we have a quality assurance service instance. So what we need to do is to define here an application. Let's call it hybrid wallet. Click enter and then add the platforms to this app. So in our case, we will just use the Android platform because we don't have iOS environment. So just select Android and click submit. So now what we're able to see is actually that we have two options, pre-production and production, and we need to download SDK. Actually, they are almost the same. What we will need to take afterwards is this API key that we need to provide to identify ourselves, and basically let's start with downloading the SDK. So just click on this link, and in case it will be blocked, pop-up window like in my case, just click there manually. So we have several options here. First of all, there are two native ones for Android and iOS, the native SDK for quality assurance, and then SDK for MobileFirst Platform. If you're using the Studio, this will be the best option. We are using the command line interface, so for us the best option will be SDK, the plugin for Apache Cordova. So this is actually the plugin that we are able to download and install using MFP Cordova plugin add. And first, let's start with downloading this. The file is not really big, but it's not really small, so it's 150 megabytes, and it depends on your internet connection how much time it will take. For me, it won't be a while. So once we downloaded this plugin, we actually need to unpack it to some folder. And then, as you can see here, we also have in the Knowledge Center articles how to install this plugin. So installation is pretty simple. In case we are working with the Cordova plugin, the installation will look like this: MFP Cordova plugin add and specifying the plugin location. And then the important thing that we need also to do is to rename these custom rules to custom rules XML back inside the Android platform. So let's navigate inside Cordova plugin and extract it to the folder, let's call it MQA. Just like that. Now we can open our IDE, in our case it's Atom, and open the terminal package in the bottom panel and navigate to hybrid applications, so hybrid wallet Cordova. And here we can type MFP Cordova plugin add and the location. In our case, the location will look like this. So it's our home folder, then we are going to downloads, and then we are going to MQA. And just click enter. So basically that's it. MQA plugin is installed. What this means? It means that when we will go to Cordova, here in plugins, we will able to see IBM MQA. with the code for Android and iOS. And basically now we will need to initialize this plugin during our application startup. By initializing, I mean that we need to start a session because, of course, the plugin will be loaded automatically. So how to start a session is described in this second article, starting a Cordova session. But before going there, we need to rename these custom rules. We shouldn't forget about that. So it's located under Platforms, Android, this custom rules XML. So like an example, we'll rename it to custom rules XML back. Just like that. And now let's go back to the browser and start Cordova session. So as you can see, basically the code for a starting session is quite simple. We will just need to provide information about the mode. So we have QA mode, market mode, and silent mode. QA is actually the most noisy. I mean, when we first time start the app, it will show us the intro, how to use MQA and so on. Silent won't say anything. Yeah, it's market, like production use, so no, actually no noise, and we are all only defined by ourselves when to start this bug reporting. And basically what we need also to provide is the API key, so application key that we need to put here. We'll use only Android. So let's copy this code and let's pass it inside our index.js file in a hybrid project. So under www.js index.js. So here, as you remember, we are connecting to a server. And actually, after we connected to a server, let's start MQA session, because if you are not able to connect to a server, I mean MobileFirst Platform server, probably there is no need to submit any bugs because the app is not working. So iOS version is not required. We can simply remove it from here. And here we need to put our key. So let's go back to dashboard and copy the key. Just like that. I will also do auto indents to see the lines. And actually in QA mode we have a choice how to submit bug report, because we will see in a status bar, or of course it depends how each platform calling this, we will have a menu shows us that we can launch the bug reporting from there. We can also shake device, but it's pretty hard to do for emulator. Or we can manually call MQA bug or MQA feedback or something like that. But let's keep it like is, so we actually need to do a few things. First of all, I will go the level back to a server project and start the server. If you have it already started, there is no need to do this step for you, but I need to start it first. So now we can go back to our hybrid project when our server started. Type mfp push to push our application to a server. And important thing is that we unfortunately cannot test MQA in a browser because it contains the native code and it's not supposed to be tested in a browser. So we need to start our emulator and launch our app on emulator. So let's wait until emulator will be started. So now when we have our emulator started, we can also push the application there using mfp Cordova run -p Android and wait until application will be launched. So now when our application is actually starting, we should able to see the window looking like this. So this window is actually the way how to initialize yourself. So here you will see the team members that you have defined on the Bluemix side in quality assurance service that you can indicate yourself. So this is my account, for example. Then you will see actually the overview how to use MQA. So as I said, the most appropriate way is to just shake a device to report the bug. Then you can basically check for options and so on. So this tutorial will be shown only once. Second time you will launch the app, it won't be visible. So now we can actually log in inside our app. So let's have user and a password that we expect, just like that. And here we have reply from server, and let's try to report our first bug. So for that we can open this bar and click, for example, here on tab to report a problem or give a feedback. So as you can see, we have two options: report a bug and give a feedback. Let's report the bug. Let's type something like tabs should be at the bottom. Tabs should be at the bottom, just like that. We can type any description, it doesn't really important for us, we are just testing. What do you do? What did you do? Nothing. Severity, let's say critical. And there is also a screenshot that we added, and we can modify it by clicking on it. We will have actually an instrument that allow us to select and show what is wrong. So for example, I will take this and point that it should be at the bottom. And then we can click done, and this screenshot with our annotation will be added. We can also add screenshots from gallery or take a photo if we need, and we can simply click send. So this bug report went to a server. What this means? It means that on the server side now you can see that there is one session. When we will go inside or refresh this page, we will also see the bug available here. So let's try to go inside. So we again need to click in order not to block the pop-up. And here is the console for quality assurance, where we're able to see the bug report that was just submitted. So inside this bug report, of course, we can see a picture if we need the full-size picture. Otherwise, this thumbnail preview picture will be visible. We also see the build version of our app, the session time. As you see, we were there 2 minutes. Client library version, what was the user, how it was connected to us. So in case you have Wi-Fi, you have Wi-Fi details. Device details, including even the information about kind of card or internal drive, model, UID, unique device ID, and so on. So quite a lot of information. Information about battery, screen, if there were any real telephone service, I mean some kind of telephone provider, telecom provider, we will see information about it here also, and location where this was made. Basically the same way in the app we can submit also feedback. So for example, when we are clicking on the feedback, we can enter some text like great app. We can rate this app. Let's, for example, put it 4 stars, include a screenshot if it's needed. And this will be an internal feedback. So as you see, it won't be sent to Google Play. It's just internal feedback for developers. So we should be able to see it here under pre-production feedback, because we are using this SDK, these libraries. And here's our feedback with 4 stars, let's say, in a great app. Of course, when we will have more details about our app, more feedback, more bug reports, maybe some crashes, but this is not a really great topic. to discuss. We will be able to see all of that here, and on Overview tab we will see some basic information with statistics about crashes and so on, working sessions. We are also able to distribute our app, so upload the build, the binary file, and then send it over the email. Control and check the devices that were used for our application tests, and so on. So basically, that's it for now. We submitted our first bug report and first feedback with MQA, and on this step we are finishing with our lab series for hybrid wallet. So thank you for watching this.